So, I've been a minimalist for the last 6 years, and I've learned a lot in that time about myself and about, especially about how to be organized in my life. And I'll put up some images here of my room, or maybe some video of my room here. So you can see I've got like kind of a messy bed, some papers on the floor, got some drawers hanging out. I have some stuff on my desks. So I'm not like an absolute minimalist, but I feel like the term minimal and minimalist are very overused to describe people that really aren't all that minimalist. They're referring more to an aesthetic kind of choice rather than a lifestyle, I feel like. A lot of them do follow the lifestyle, they throw stuff out that they don't need, and they cut down on what they don't need and get only what they do need. But something I keep hearing is like people on YouTube and stuff, they're saying like it's too expensive or whatever. And I'm like, I don't get that because I spend way less than I ever did before I did minimalism. And it's not like I've worked that much. I'm still in high school and all. So it's really just not like that at all. It hasn't been extremely hard for me to do minimalism because I have never really worked all that much, so I don't have like an extreme amount of money to spend. But at the same time, I also just like how it looks and how it feels to not have to hold myself together and try to find things all the time. I used to do that. I used to have like hundreds of boxes. Well, maybe hundreds is a little bit exaggerated, but like at least like 10 boxes of like completely filled stuff, like 50-pound boxes of just like toys and stuff that I never even played with. So I just like threw all those out and sold them. Yeah. But yeah, in the last 6 years, I've just gotten rid of stuff constantly. And at this point, I've got a pretty organized life. But some people I feel like don't understand minimalism in the way that I do it, because a lot of people on YouTube and other places and stuff, they focus on the aesthetic, I think, of minimalism. They don't really care about actually being like minimalist. They have like a few shirts. They have like everything clean. They just constantly obsess over like how everything looks. I feel like is a big one, just how everything is nicely like set up. But I think that's not like minimalism. I feel like minimalism is trying to cut that out of your life, like trying to cut the thinking out of the thinking process of like, what do I wear today? I feel like it's trying to cut that out. But like, if you don't have something to wear because you have too few shirts, or if you're cleaning instead of doing something else like going out with friends or something, then like I feel like that's a little bit detrimental rather than actually helping you, you know? So it's like, so basically what I'm saying is like, people make it way too hard on themselves. And when people see these influencers, or they see other people being really hard on themselves and like going really hard and with the expensive route of minimalism, I think people get like discouraged and they kind of just don't like want to go towards minimalism. They're like, they think that that's the way that it's like an expensive hobby, I guess, is what I think some people think of it as. But I just think that people are a little obsessive, I guess, is a word I'd use when they do minimalism, and they go to the extremes, buying like furniture and stuff that looks minimalist. But I don't think that's the case. I think the real way to do minimalism is setting things up at the start of when you're trying to do minimalism. You have to like throw stuff out that you don't need. That's a big one. That's probably the biggest one. But then you have to keep it that way. That's all you really have to do. You have to throw out the stuff you actually don't use. Like if you still use the stuff, like if you just think like, oh, I have too many shirts or whatever, like my example before, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think really you just have to understand like some things you need to keep, and sometimes you don't have to keep everything clean. You have to keep it as clean as possible, and that's like the main thing. You want to keep it organized. That's the main like point of minimalism, at least from my perspective. And that's the way I do it, basically. I just keep things organized in the places where they're meant to be, and then I can get to them quicker. And it also is more about being efficient. That's the second thing that I figured out even more than like being organized. Being efficient, like you learned really fast how to be efficient. in a few kind of unexpected ways, I think. Because like time, for example, it's kind of an unexpected like minimalist tactic that you start to learn how to be efficient in, because when you're cutting down your spending habits, when you're cutting down on what you have, you realize like how little you actually need, like how little you need to spend on this particular thing, which it translates directly over to time, where you begin understanding what time use is actually useful, and you start being minimalist within your time frames, and like, do I give my time to this, do I not give my time to this? I think that's a big one, big efficiency change that I realized within myself after I started minimalism. So that's like a big thing that I remember when I started, and it's grown as I've continued on. Something else I've realized is that like the digital life, your digital life is not very different at all from your real life. Like, well, back when I had all those boxes, like I was talking about, I also had like 100 games. I'm pretty sure that I played like 3 of them, 4 of them, or I played some of them. Then I got bored and I moved over to other ones and stuff. So it just kind of like had a bunch of useless games. So when I started doing minimalism, halfway through minimalism, I realized like I need to get my digital stuff in check. And then I just like organized, deleted a bunch of them. I have like 4 left now. I think that's pretty good representation of what minimalism is. So also, something important is about your happiness level, I think, goes up when you do minimalism. Sounds really generic, I guess, to say that, but I do think that it's true, because you have this space now. You have this time to not think about buying a bunch of things that you don't need. You don't have to think about saving as much, because you just save automatically. And also, there's the space in the room that you're in, or the space in your house or whatever, and that allows you to like move around, and you're more free. You feel more free because you're able to walk around in your own house. Like, you don't want a bunch of boxes everywhere. That doesn't make you feel good. So the best thing is that you you open up more space. So you literally expand your house. You basically expand your house. So that's pretty a good thing about minimalism. Then finally, this is the last thing here. It just makes your life simpler. It just makes your life very simple. Like I was saying, you save automatically. You don't buy useless things. You don't have to like choose in the morning. Like, you don't have to choose a bunch of things, because you just think, I'm just going to pick the simplest option. I'm just going to pick the option where I don't have to do as much about this particular set of problems you're facing. I'm just going to pick the easiest solution where I don't lose more than I need to, and I don't gain excess. That's basically the idea. So I don't know if those were 6 things, but I think you could count it up and it'd be 6. I think so. So that's about it. That's about all I was going to talk about. So bye.